Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brownstone. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle, and you're listening to Numbers Don't Lie, where you learn to get out your feelings so you can make the best decisions for yourself, your family, and your business. So, guys, we are wrapping up Financial Literacy Month, and we've learned so much money mindset, investing, real estate, all the things in between. So, you should have at least one thing that you should be able to take action on, whether it's you individually or with your family. At least one thing. Okay. And you know what? I need you to tell me what that one thing is. Whether it's you're going to get serious about the home buying process because maybe you've counted yourself out. You now have exposure. You know, almost everybody on this call, on this podcast this month has owned a home. So somebody up here look like you, remind you your auntie or somebody, you have exposure. So there's no longer an excuse. So you should be able to start that home buying process if you were scared before, or you can just talk to a realtor. Maybe you should take your 401k a little more seriously. There's so many different action steps that you can take. And so today we're really just rounding out the month, making sure we have solidified everything in our head. And I have one more strategy that I want to bring to you guys, and you should be able to take action on that after you leave today. So remember, all this is information. It may be new to you, and maybe it's reintroduced, but you're taking it seriously this time. So without further ado, I want to bring my next guest up. He is a financial strategist, and sometimes you have those people that kind of just know everything about a lot of stuff. He's one of those people that knows a lot of stuff about finances, about investing, about all those things that make your whole situation make sense. So without further ado, let me bring up my boy, Mr. Jeff More. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, thank you for that warm introduction. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic.
So, Jeff, can you tell the people who you are and why they need to know you?
So I am Jeff Moore, affectionately known as Jeff the Wealth Builder, and I help first-generation wealth builders get control of their money, build tax-exempt income, and leave a legacy of money to the next generation.
I like that. Now, he said, you said a couple things, but that legacy of money, I don't think I've ever heard it put like that. I like that.
That's right.
I'm glad I know you. Okay, so let's dive in with our first question, because the people need to, they need to know all these things and wrap it all up. So can you just give us a little bit of background of like how you even got into this work? Because most people have a story, right? Like, oh, I had one, Holly, she was the CPA that helps kids understand money. So it's just like she got in because of her personal experience. So how did you get into this work?
My experience was totally different. I had my whole life planned out. Okay. So I went to school at Penn State University. I got my bachelor's and my master's degree, and I had my whole life mapped out. I was going to go into the inner city and teach kids how to play chess, because as a youth, I played chess in the inner city, and it was one of the things that primarily one of the most beneficial things that happened to me in my life. So my whole game plan was to go back into inner city in Philadelphia, where I grew up, teach kids how to play chess, have the summers off, and then I was going to travel the world and play in all different kind of chess tournaments.
Wow.
So I had all of these things planned out until I went to the interview for the teacher's job with the master's degree plus 30 credits, and they told me that the salary starting was $29,000, and it was going to be fixed for 3 years.
Sounds about right.
I went home and said, how am I going to live? Right. 49. I got student loans. I got all this stuff. I got to live. Wait a minute here.
That math won't mathing.
The money is definitely not mathing. So I had this ambitious plan. I was like, since I finished and got my master's degree in December, I was going to take a job, and I went and looked for a commission job because I wanted to make as much money as possible, because I was preparing to be poor for the rest of my life. So I took a job as a mortgage originator with a company called PHH. And it was an outfit in South New Jersey that basically specialized in helping to underwrite mortgages. So I went to work with this plan that I was going to make $50,000. That was my goal. I was like, I'm gonna make $50,000. If I can make $50,000 in 6 months on commission, that will be able to give me the leverage that I need to kind of, prepare my life to be poor for the rest of my life. So working, I made a lot of money as a commissions person at PHH. I used to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. This was my game plan. I was go to work at 8 when they open, and then they open up extra hours because they had a branch in the West Coast. So I was like, bet I'm going to work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, 5 days a week, because I got to make $50,000 in 6 months. That was the goal. And so in the process of that, and I got pretty close to that 50,000. I bumped into one of the guys I went to Penn State with, and we was chopping it up. He came by the apartment I was living in, and I asked him a question. I said, "So, what are you doing these days?" And he was like, "Well, I'm so happy you asked." And he put out this presentation, and he did this presentation on my kitchen table, and I'm looking at him like, "This what you do for a living?" And he was like, "Yes." I was like, "Man, this is easy." He was like, "If it's so easy, then why don't you come do it with me?"
Oh, he trapped you in that. He got
He
you.
sure, he sure did. And that was 26 years ago. So now got into the business um, as a financial advisor and strategist, and it really took a really interesting turn after I got into business because as a kid I remember it was a white guy that always came by the house on the 15th of the month, and my mother used to give him $50 for an insurance premium. And my mom, man, she used to haze my dad to make sure that my dad had that $50 for the 15th of every month. And
Listen.
this happened for close to 40 years. Probably, yeah, because my oldest sister got close to 40 years that she was paying on this policy at the time. So me being all eager, after I just got my insurance license, I wanted to know what that policy was all about. Because I remember the things that, my mom, she made sure the 15th of every month. So I looked at the policy and I read it. And one of the most disturbing things happened. My mother thought she had a policy that was growing in some value.
Mm-hmm.
And from her understanding, she thought it was a savings mechanism.
Mm.
But when I looked and read the policy, it was quite the difference. It was just a pure policy that paid $5,000 for an insurance contract for in case my mother or father died, and $2,500 in the event that any kid died. And she was paying over $50 a month for close to, I would say, 30, 35, almost 40 years.
Oh my gosh.
And when I talked to my mom about that, the look on her face and the disgust and the anguish that she felt, like, what are you talking about? I've been paying this and for all these years. And she had this understanding that this was going to be worth more than what it actually was. And in actuality, it wasn't.
Mm.
And um, the insurance company who sold that plan to her, they got into a class action lawsuit where they were selling these policies to underprivileged minorities, and they had a class action lawsuit that they lost. So,
Good.
so I was on a mission after that
Mm-hmm.
to, like, basically get people the information that they need to make the most intelligent decision based on their concerns.
You hit the
So,
nail on the head, Jeff, because that's the whole premise of this show and this month, because it sounds like there just wasn't enough knowledge to be able to make a different decision. And
yep.
so this is what we're trying to do this month, is because that's all data is, guys. Excuse me. That's all data is. It's just information to equip you to make a better decision.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that with me. So
Yeah, 'cause one
what
of one of the
happened?
most valuable lessons, like my mom taught me as a kid growing up, she used to always tell me, when you understand what's going on, you will know what to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't get it as a kid. I'm like, Mom, that don't even make sense. When I understand what's going on, I'ma know what to do. That don't make sense. But as I got older and you see the complexities of life, then the light bulb goes off. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
man, now that I understand what the situation that I'm in, now that I understand the environment that I'm in, now that I understand that the circumstances that surrounding what I can do, now I can make an intelligent decision. So it
Mm-hmm.
all came into fruition. And I wished I would have caught it when she said it to me,
Yeah,
but it
of course.
happened. It happened like right after she died, that it really, the light bulb went off, like, oh, now I know what my mother was talking about. So in the spirit of keeping her legacy alive, that's how I indoctrinate my business. I basically get people to understand what they're doing and what's going on with their money so they can make the most intelligent decision that they can with the information that they have available.
I love it. That was a great story. That was a great way to just, show that you were completely aligned with the show. I mean, we can go home now.
Okay, nice to meet you. Good time. Good time to see you.
Okay,
God
y'all,
is great.
I'm not gonna let him get
Peace.
away that fast because
All
we
right,
have
all
more
right.
to share with you. So, let me ask you one thing. 'Cause I feel like you kind of addressed some of the questions I wanted to ask, which is okay.
Uh-huh.
So when people think about when thinking about, I guess, life insurance, because you mentioned it, what is like something? So sometimes I know when I heard about life insurance, I got really excited. I was like, oh snap, like it's not what I thought it was. It could do more than I thought it could do. What are some things, like some mistakes that rookies kind of do when they hear about something like that and get excited and they just go out and do it? But it's just like, you probably should have got a little more information before you did that. Like, what are some of those big mistakes?
So some of the big mistakes are, one, some people wait too long to get it. That's
Mm,
one of the big things. I mean, too many times when I explain the concept of life insurance, people, they're like, and then when a light bulb goes off for them, oftentimes, it's a lot more expensive for
yep,
them
it's later.
because of the age, and then sometimes they might have some health ailments that could
Hmm.
interrupt them getting coverage. So that's one of the things, delaying, and one of the things with the power of life insurance, what most people don't talk about, is the power of compound interest. And more importantly, life insurance is one of the most misunderstood products in gaining compound interest. And it is the one of the only products that can give you uninterrupted compound interest. And
Nice.
that is one of the keys to really building wealth. It is really having that component of compound interest, being able to grow each and every year without being interrupted. So another thing, another misconception, and a lot of other people, they look at life insurance as for something that when you die,
Hmm.
like they plan life insurance that say, I only need enough to bury me. And I like to explain to people that nowhere in the word life insurance does it talk about death.
That's a good point.
Is the reason why they call it life insurance. And the way that we structure it and design it is really intended for you to have money throughout all phases of your life, that you can take advantage of an opportunity when the opportunity come your way. And that was one of the biggest discoveries that I made with life insurance, is just basically having a storage house of money that you can have access to at any time for any reason, to take advantage of an opportunity, whether it be in the stock market, whether it be in the real estate market, whether it be starting your own business. You have a base, a solid foundation of immediate liquidity that you can use on at any time for whatever thing that you're trying to get accomplished. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I see, especially in the Black and Brown communities, that we're not utilizing this method of life insurance as a wealth building mechanism.
It's April, so at the Numbers Don't Lie podcast, we're going to be talking about financial literacy all month. So get ready to hear about all aspects of your life, from the mindset to family to real estate to investing. It goes from simple to complex. So get ready to hear from these experts, guys. They are phenomenal, and they're going to equip you with the information you need to take action so your next year can be better than this one. Get ready to count those coins and stack those ones, because y'all, it's about to go down. So tune in to Numbers Don't Lie every single Tuesday and Thursday in April. You're listening to Dr. Michele here on Numbers Don't Lie on KCCR The Brownstone. We have our special guest, Jeff More, financial strategist. We're talking life insurance and just really recapping this month of financial literacy, because we really want you guys to have the best information to make the next best decision. You can follow us, Brownstone Worldwide, on Instagram as well as Facebook. You can check us out on brownstoneworldwide.com, and you can go in there and tinker around and find some articles and news about your life and your world. Okay, so Jeff, that point about delaying, because I remember learning about life insurance, but I did delay it for whatever reason. It's just like I got excited about it, but I ended up deprioritizing it when I shouldn't. Now, this is a lesson for all y'all out there, okay? So, and I think a lot of us saw with the housing market too. So, because in our minds, we think all factors are going to remain the same,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's just like, oh, I'm going to delay it, not understanding that you could get sicker, like Jeff said. So, like now you need it and you don't have it. Maybe you don't have the funds, the extra funds that you did, or maybe you start tying your funds up in something silly when you really could be using it for something more productive. But in my case, what happened, Jeff, was COVID-19. So I learned about policies, like the whole life policies, the index funds and all that stuff. Like I think it was early 2021. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
like the pandemic was going on, but like the effects had not been like fully manifested yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe it was 2020. I don't know. But so I was talking to a girlfriend of mine. She sold life insurance. She was an independent broker. You know, she could shop the market, all that good stuff. She had drafted the illustrations for me. This is like in 2021. Yeah, so she drafted illustrations for me, everything. I was like, okay, well, let me grow my business to the point where I can like pay for it, you know, like this, da 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 da. Even though I really could have just paid for it. Fast forward to the end of last year. So this is the end of 2022. I was like, all right, I just need to get this done before 2023. Like it's been sitting on the back burner long enough. Y'all, she said, oh, you can get the policy, but you can get this for the same amount, the same value or death benefit is more now, like it costs more money. I was like, what you mean? She was like, yeah, it costs more money because younger people, because of the pandemic, a lot of more younger people had died, and they pretty much reevaluated like, you know, their risk uh numbers. And so it's just like, oh, so now I'm paying more money for the same policy I could have got like a year and a half before. So you cannot just
Yesterday's
wait.
price, yesterday's price is yesterday's price. It's
And
not
that's that.
today's price, quoting the infamous Fat Joe.
Okay. And it was like that with the housing market. It's like
It's
that
like
with
that with
everything.
everything.
Like inflation is everywhere. And so like we really don't have the luxury of waiting. Cause me and Tremaine talked about this a lot. A
And
lot of times you're just waiting on
especially
like this
in the
random moment that it's just like, what do you're not actually even waiting on anything. You just kind of
especially in the insurance market, because each year that you turn older, you get closer to your mortality.
yeah.
And the insurance companies are all in the business of measuring risk. They are the best managers of risk and keeping your principal protected in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other business, no other entity that is better than insurance companies in measuring risk.
Yeah.
So they look at you and say, yeah, you was 29 and fine, but now you're 30 and fine, and you're gonna pay some more money.
Yep. We can get a few extra dollars off of that. Or now you 30 with you know, another ailment that you didn't have before. So I was like, you are never gonna be any more younger and healthy. Well, I mean, you can get healthier, but you know what I mean? Like for the most part, most the average American is not gonna be any more younger or healthier than you are today.
That's true.
So you might as well spring into action.
That's right. And one of the things too is like the way that we structure and position a life insurance, it is the safest place for you to save money,
Mm.
because the guaranteed interest rate that an insurance company is going to give you is going to far supersede any interest that you're going to earn at a bank. Even if you put that money in a CD, a lot of
That's a
the
fact.
times, a lot of the times that interest rates that the insurance companies give you is like 10 to 15 times higher than what you would earn in interest at a bank.
I
So
believe it.
so it's like it's the safest place in the world for you to store money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think a lot of people don't look at it as a place for saving. They just like, oh my God, the premium, the premium, the premium. But a big part of that premium goes to build your cash value account
Mm-hmm.
that gives you opportunity for your money to be an emergency fund for you, gives you opportunity for, you know, if you wanted to, you know, save money for a down payment on a home, state to start a business, you know, to take advantage if the stock market drops and Tesla goes to $100 a share, you got money that you can automatically pull to seize an opportunity. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of people don't look at it like that. They just look at it as, oh my God, I got to pay this insurance premium. And
Yeah.
I like to explain a lot of all the time is that it's not what life insurance is what life insurance does.
Mm.
So it's not what it is, it's what it does. And what it does is it provides you with an opportunity to have your dollar have multiple jobs. I like to call it the Swiss Army knife of a financial product because not only will it provide you protection, not only will it provide you with liquidity, not only will it provide you with monies that you can utilize on your advantage, and there's no other product can do the same things that life insurance can do. It gets
Wow.
a bad rap
Mhm.
because people are turned off when they hear life insurance. If they
Yeah.
called it any other thing, people will be lining up to buy it. But it's just something about
Believe that.
life insurance, you
People
know.
don't like to think about death. Like, I mean, you think about having a conversation about anything relating to when your parents pass away or if I would pass away. People just, I don't want to talk about it. I'm just like, listen, it's going to happen whether you wanted to or not, whether you prepare for it or not. And
It,
this
what's the percentage that you're going to die?
100,
But then
the numbers
again,
don't lie.
but then again, the numbers don't lie. Then again, it comes back to it though. So why people are so when they hear life insurance, where life insurance doesn't even talk about death.
It implies it. So there's an imply, but no, I totally get
But
that.
it's funny. It's funny though. The rich don't look at it that way.
And but no, I was actually going to come to that next
Mhm.
because there's this, negative connotation about life insurance, even though it literally doesn't say death at all. Why do you think, not that the topic is taboo, why do you think all that you just explained to us that life insurance has a power to do, why do you think it has been so, I would say, hidden from the majority of the American population?
That is the $16 billion question. I think a lot of it has to do with the insurance companies as
Mhm.
well, because the insurance companies want you to be confused. Because in the confusion, they make a lot of profit.
Mm.
So, when you have an entity, take for example, back in the 80s, when A.L. Williams was a company that came out and they had the greatest marketing scheme on planet Earth, in my opinion, where they convinced people to trade in their whole life insurance and buy term insurance and invest the difference. And in the 80s, that was a big, big, big thing. And the insurance companies kind of allowed it
Hmm.
because when you buy term insurance from an insurance company, the profit, the profit margins on term insurance is astronomical.
Right.
Because Penn State did a study and said that less than 1% of those policies ever pay out on a claim.
Right.
So
I
it's a
believe
cash
it.
for the insurance company. So the insurance company is like, wait a minute, wait a minute. They're like, hold up, wait a minute. Although this is not a popular strategy that people should be doing, look at all the money that it's
Hmm.
making us.
It
So they
benefits
didn't
them.
they didn't say anything about it. They just said, let's let them do it. We're going to make some products that's going to mirror what buy term insurance and invest the difference is. And then the insurance company's answer to that was universal life, which
Hmm.
is basically a term insurance product that increases in cost every year, and you investing your money in a separate account. In that case, in the 80s, the separate account was in a savings account because interest rates were astronomical during
Yeah.
those times. So they captured on that the marketing scheme that A.L. Williams did and kind of re-engineered it and made a product that it can benefit them even more.
Hmm.
So when we look at the data, we said, where's the profit margin for insurance companies? And they make the least amount of money with whole life insurance,
I
with
believe it.
dividend paying whole life insurance. And that's why they don't make it popular. That's why they like, oh, well, we're going to push all this other stuff because it's more profit margin in term insurance. It's more profit margin in universal life insurance. It's more profit margin in index universal life insurance. It's more profit margin in universal variable life insurance. it's just more profit. So that's where the focus went, because when you follow the dollar, you can really find out like what's behind and unpeel that onion to make sure that that you doing things that's for your better good and not doing things for the better good of another financial institution.
That's
So
good. And that's why y'all, seriously, y'all, that's why you're here. Because people will always look out for themselves first. And so that means you need to as well. And one way to look out for yourself and your family is to equip yourself with the information so you can make decisions that make sense, as opposed to kind of being tossed to and fro with what someone else says or thinks is good for you.
when you understand what's going on, you know what to do.
Come on, way to bring that back, Jeff. Like that. Because I know for me, for a while, I was on the Dave Ramsey train. And for look, y'all see the eye roll. See, if you listen on KCTR, the app, you missed Jeff's
Oh,
eye roll.
I got a little crick in my
Oh,
neck.
it's his neck.
My neck.
But I was on that train for a little bit, but until I got more information, it's just like, okay, I understand what he's trying to say. But you have people like him that are pushing the whole term life, term life, term life. And I get it. Term
Well,
life
see,
is better than no life. I
when,
mean, like, if you
exactly.
just,
And
but
when
the
you
whole story is
understand
not being told.
when you understand like where his positioning,
Mm-hmm.
you'll know why he promotes the way that he promotes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, he has ownership in a term insurance company. So quite naturally, term insurance is going to be something that he pushes,
That makes
you
sense.
know, and it makes sense for the audience that his
Mm-hmm.
demographic is, which is mostly working class Americans. Dave Ramsey information doesn't make sense for an entrepreneur,
Right. Yeah.
for a real estate investor. They looking at him like, wait a minute, debt is my friend as opposed to debt being my enemy,
Yeah.
because I can use debt to create income. And
Mm-hmm.
Dave Ramsey doesn't talk about those
Mm-hmm.
kind of strategies. So it all depends on, he speaks a specific message to a specific demographic of
Yeah.
person.
And I
And,
changed. And so maybe you're out there listening to me, like you've changed too. So when I first started out on my financial journey, I was just I was a teacher. I was a teacher, Jeff. And I was making, I think, 36,000
you
with
was
my
poor.
master's degree.
You was
I ain't
poor.
had no debt. So I ain't feel poor. I felt bad for my friends that had children that had debt. I was like, oh, how you living? I ain't had no master's degree. I'm like, so you really making like 33,000. Anywho, but at the time I was a working class person. I was a teacher. I didn't really have debt, but I wanted to keep it that way and wanted to, save and buy a house, all that stuff. But as soon as my dynamic changed, that information was no longer sufficient. And so for those of you that are listening, that listen to certain gurus, you do, like Jeff said, have to understand who their market is. You may fit who they're talking to today. But if you ever find yourself changing, maybe you are exploring entrepreneurship. Maybe you are becoming a real estate investor. After you listen to this, you're probably really excited about it. Then it's time for you to update the information that you have so you can make a better decision, because just operating off of old information may not be the best for you and your family. Y'all better come. Y'all have to listen on replay, rewind it back, listen to it again, and connect with Jeff. So, Jeff, how can they connect with you to learn more about all this good stuff?
You can connect with me on my website, which is morestrategy.com,
Can you spell
because
that for us?
MOORE and then strategy, STRATEGY, because you need more strategy in your life. So you can always go to my website, and you can click on the website. I have a free consultation call if you just wanted to find out if we can be a fit to help to build your financial legacy. You can tap in there. You can follow me on social media channels at Jeff the Wealth Builder, because that's what I like to help people do, build wealth, because it gives me no greater joy.
I know that's
Uh,
right.
and if you old school and you want to pick up the phone and call, my telephone number is 856-642-4072, for all the old schoolers in the house. And that's the number to my office. I'm based out of Mount Laurel, New Jersey, which is the southern part of New Jersey, close to Philadelphia. And I'm licensed to do business in almost every state. So
Wow.
there's no person that I, can't help. If you want a strategy, if you want someone to kind of help build your legacy, so your kids, and their friends can be able to still be spending off the money and enjoying the lifestyle, then I'm your guy. Not for everyone, but I'm for the people who are serious about building wealth.
Awesome. Well, y'all, we got to thank Jeff again. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Numbers Don't Lie podcast. We really, really appreciate the wealth of information that you have given. Guys, make sure you stay tuned for what's coming up next. And you can check us out again on Facebook at Brownstone Worldwide or brownstoneworldwide.com. And you can follow me, your host, Dr. Michele, on all platforms at Mogul Beginnings. That's Mogul, Mogul like money, Mogul Beginnings. So I'm a data scientist and I'm teaching y'all how to take this information and turn it to money. So connect with me as well if you would like, and we can see if we're a good fit as well. So guys, have a great rest of your day, and I pray your May is going to be a lot better because all the information that you got, and I want you guys to let me know what action that you took because of what you learned this month. All right, y'all.